Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a lot of vowels. I don't think there's a 7-letter play here, and I don't think I'm going to look through the alphabet because I really don't think there is a 7, so I don't wish to waste the time. So it's a matter of playing or changing. If I played, I think the best I could do would be PIU for 10 points, but that retains 3 vowels and the blank. So I'm going to change. And I'll just keep A blank. That looks quite a lot better. Through an A or an E, I would have rugalach or rugelach. Also through both of those through an L. Do I have a 7 should my opponent change? Well, he hasn't changed. He's played, but he hasn't played an A or an E, which I was looking for, or an L. So I have Chiringa through an I. Well, that doesn't get doubled. Do I have anything through S, O or T? Probably. But how much time should I spend looking for such a play? Probably worth finding one through a T, since it could be a double-double. I've got the arch prefix. I'm just seeing if any 8s come to mind. So the blank as an E is quite promising, so let me just consider the floaters. I don't think Gosha takes an S. I could be missing something there. What about the O? Not seeing anything. How about the T? That's the key one. Not seeing anything. So that's the Chiringa play through an N. That's rugalach through an A or an E. And there could be quite a few through the I, since I have the ING ending. That was Chiringa. So I'm not seeing anything else, so I'm going to get Chiringa down. I suspect there are other bingos available. Chiringa takes an S. Not great, but not bad either. Fairly balanced, and I've got scoring tiles. So I should be able to score quite well. The board's fairly open. I've got a vowel next to a double word square, where my M and Y can go. I don't think there's an 8-letter play with this rack. Quite a few floaters to consider. I've got LY, the LY ending. The homo beginning. The omo beginning. Can't see anything with the T, but it looks promising. I've got the otomy ending. Nothing with the G, so I've got the O and A on the board, which are vowels next to premium squares, where my M and Y can go. So I could play Yom in either spot. It would be nice to play off one more vowel, so a play of Mayo perhaps. Or Moya. Moya plays in row I. Nothing goes to the left of the C, so I don't have a play in column 5. Wow, nice bingo by my opponent, 74 points. What options do I have? Do I have a 6-letter play running over the top of Skyuroid? Well, what about Mooley? That works in terms of the two-letter plays, but is it good? If so, it scores 38 points. And I think it'll be worth doing, but it may not be good. It is. And I draw 2 U's. Not great. I've got the full ending with ANRU. And the beginning. In fact, I have the beginning and the FUL ending with RA. Can't see anything there. Wow, 48 points for my opponent, so he leads by a bingo despite my bingo. Seems very high. Well, I guess he started with a bingo as well, so he's had 2 bingos and a high Z play. Foo is good. So I have Alf. Not great because it leaves 2 U's. I have... Wow, do I have Formula? I think I may, which gets rid of both U's. 40 points, that's got to be the play, I think. Does Formula take an R? I don't think it does. I think it's just E and S. But I'm going to try it because of the score. That's not good. So let me just get rid of this R and play the word. Great, I draw the second blank. Just the 1 vowel and some pretty clunky consonants. But I should be able to play off 2 of the 3 troublesome tiles. And look at this, look at the number of E's to come. Still half the tiles in the bag. Through an O, or with the blank as an O, I've got the over prefix, but with BKT, so I'm not going to find a bingo there. I was just looking at the possibility of playing over the top of Mooley with my B on this triple letter square. The B can still go there, but I don't have anything to go which works with the B, which goes in front of aura. Well, that's a shame. I don't have an A for going over ZO, otherwise my V, K or B could go above IS. Now, Formula is good, so I could play verb. Curb would score more, but I think K is better on my rack than the V. So that's 29 points, which is quite a good score. And I'm keeping the board open in terms of opening row N, although V is a bit restrictive. It takes out row I as a bingo lane and doesn't provide a bingo lane in column 13. But I think overall this is worth doing. And if I draw an A, I've got a good scoring spot next turn with the K above whiz. So verb for 29. Not good at all, which is a shame since I trail by 50. I draw the second V. Wow, I drew V, W and G. And my opponent's gone in the super hot spot I had my eye on. So he's now got a pretty good lead. I can't use this triple letter square twice. How bad is this rack? I'm really looking to play off 2 or 3 of these bad consonants, and they're pretty much all bad. And there are very few vowels to play through. The U of formulae is in the open, but that doesn't go well with the consonants on my rack. My E can't go above the Y, so I don't have a play in row B. Only an S goes after verb. It's a shame to change because that gives me 0 points, so even if I bingo next go, I'm just averaging 30 or 40. But what can I do about that? Just looking to see if there's a way of opening up the top of the board. I don't want the board to be so closed down that I'm opening a bingo lane only for my opponent to shut it down. And I don't want to have a bingo on my rack and know where to play it. My K can go above the Y. Still 2 S's to come. And I can't see a good play in that spot. 12 minutes on my clock. I think I'm inclined to change. I really haven't seen any candidate moves. And that is pretty frustrating, since Verb wasn't exactly stellar in terms of score. But I'm really not seeing anything. So I'm going to change. And I'll keep ET blank. That is a much nicer looking rack. So I have add rates in row N and verbs. Nothing goes in front of M. I also have add rates in row G above sotting, so that trade has certainly worked out. Chiringa takes an S, but I don't think... Well, I was going to say I don't think add rates has an anagram, but I think Astared is good. However, that doesn't work in terms of pluralizing Chiringa. So what other lanes are available? Well, Mooley will take an S, so I have Astared in column 14. I will check that. I'm sure of add rates, but I'm not sure of Astared. No, so it is just add rate, so I don't have a column 14 play. Just looking for some big overlaps in row F, and I don't have one. I have radiate on my rack, but I really need the blank to be an S to play in row N, or for the play to begin with A or U for a play in row G, and I haven't really spotted any other bingo lanes because add rates doesn't play in column 14. Lie takes a P in front, so I readapt would be, and adapter would be bingos there. Now, well, it's disappointing. My opponent playing off the S for just 24 points, which hints that he may well have the other S. He's also taken my add rates spot. But that's not too bad, because I think, given the board, I'd rather play up here to... Well, I was going to say create a new bingo lane, but really I'm only creating a bingo lane through the S, which was a bingo lane for pluralizing Mooley, so that's not fabulous. $63 points. I don't think there's anything better to do. Not too bad. Not a bingo. But I've got the J, so I have jive in row C. I have jivier on my rack. Row L quite hot for a 5-letter play which begins J and ends in E, but I don't have one. Good scoring by my opponent, 30 points. I don't have a play in row H because neither my J nor V can go underneath any of the tiles in add rates. So I don't feel great about this play because it's not opening a new bingo lane, but it is sorting the rack out. And there are still bingo lanes on the board. But can I do better with my J? Azo takes an L in front. That doesn't help. Plebs has blocked a play down from the N. Jive could play to make P. That's worth thinking about because nothing goes under the V. So I'm creating two new bingo lanes, row O and row O again to the right, and neither of which is particularly valuable without a bingo. And the score's better than Jive up the top, so I'm going with this. Now all bingo-y tiles, but I'm not seeing a 7-letter bingo here. Can't see anything through the SS of add rates. Wow, more good scoring from my opponent. He's looking increasingly out of sight. So, a pretty good rack. I don't wish to wreck it, but if I don't wreck it, I don't score very much. So, a bit of a bind. I guess I can play Klem, which does take out one lane, but it still leaves the lane to the bottom right, and it still leaves the lane through the S. And the rack leave is good. So I'm going with Klem. More bingo-y tiles. But again, I'm not seeing a 7 here, which is a shame. Opponent opens a new bingo lane, but scores 54 points in the process, so he's now 150 points ahead with just 7 tiles in the bag. So the only way I can bingo twice is by bingoing this go and next, and I can because I was going to say I have aerotone, but I don't. I would need an O for that. That's a shame. That would have set up a slightly more interesting final play. Now, am I sure there's no 7 with this rack? I think I am. I think it would have jumped into my mind if there was one here. But I'm just not seeing it. So, how to sort the rack out? I guess the best I can do is to have one bingo. So, what to play off? How many vowels are left? 6 out of 14, so fairly balanced, but 3 O's, so might be worth jettisoning OE, for which I'm not going to score very much. But what I could do is play here, opening up a bingo lane in row B, and I'm going to do that. I have Tornia and Pet. Will O's distract my opponent? Hopefully it will. This isn't going to be a game-winning bingo for me if I get it down. Tinware is the anagram of Tornia, but it will make the losing spread a little more respectable. Now, I do have a bingo down from the A. I have Antiware, which is going to score quite well because the W will be doubled, and I'm not going to score more than that. So Antiware for 95. I draw the E. I trail by about 60 points. So my opponent's not going to bingo, I don't think. I don't think there are any bingo lanes on this board. So I will get one more go. I can get 10 points for Axe. Can I get any more? Just squizzing around. And I'm not seeing anything, so I think Axe is the best I can do. Yeah. The E has already been put onto the end of formula. So what if Axe is blocked? Where's the second best play? Well, it's not. Has my opponent provided anything New for my E, he hasn't. So I'm playing Axe for 10 points. Axe for 10. And the final score, 424 for me, 525 for my opponent, a winning margin of 101 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. Great no missed bingo here, and only 12 points on offer, retaining 2 eyes. It may simulate better, but it's going to be fairly close, I think, so I feel happier with changing. Great start for my opponent with sotting. Now I have this rack. So, these are the bingos. And just looking down here, my play isn't down here. So what did I score? I got 69. Wow, quite a difference. So maybe it would have been worth while spending a little longer looking for a play. I could have got 86 for Charagus through the O without setting up anything hugely dangerous for my opponent. So I probably played Chiringa a little too hastily. Opponent's rack. Just the one bingo and a great spot by him, Skyuroid. And I play Mooley for 38. 48 for Wiz. And now I have 40 for Formula, which I was pleased to see. This looked a more troublesome rack than it turned out to be. Opponent plays Main. Wow, hanging on to the Q. And now I have this rack, and I play Verb for 29. And I still like that. Maybe my opponent was holding on to the Q because he had his eye on this spot. If so, it certainly paid off with Cat for 76. And I'm 120 points behind with a pretty hopeless rack. In fact, I changed 28 points M, 13. Yeah. Well, certainly this rack leave of blank GTV is worth less than minus 28. So you possibly better than changing, but I don't think so, because it would have been so easy for my opponent to score in row O off the K, and a rack leave of GTV is pretty unbingo-y, as are all of the other rack leaves here, so I still like changing. Opponent plays plebs. And the change worked out because I do have bingos. I played ad rates. I could have got 2 more points with gradate, but opening up access to row O. So I'm happy with my play. Opponent, not a great rack for him. Gets 30 points. And now I have jive in a couple of spots, and I go for the N6 one. Opponent plays kedge. Now, my rack's finally starting to look a little bingo-y. I thought that was one for a moment, it wasn't. But what is it? L1. I1. 1 I. 1 I. Nope. Yes, down through the K. Okay. Fair enough. 33 points, but wrecking the rack. Instead I play Kiln for just 9 fewer points, and definitely a better rack leave. AENR, certainly more than 9 points better than N, I think. Opponent plays Xenia for 54, so he's off into the distance, and my only hope is really back-to-back bingos, and I couldn't see one here. And there wasn't one, so I play O's to open a new bingo lane. Opponent blocks that with Hoop. But fortunately I then have Antiware for 95. But look at this. Tinware scores more. Wow, I think I just saw an 8-letter play better than a 7, and the W gets doubled, but the W also would have gotten doubled with Tinware, so a couple of points shipped at the death. Wow, 60 points available for my opponent, and well, he got 59, so I hadn't really appreciated quite how much he scored at the end, so great finish for him. And finally, Axe for 10 was the best I could do. So congratulations once again to my opponent for a great game and a great victory. Over 500 points is always something to feel pleased about. So well done to him, and I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.